it's Jez here from Nigezza.co.uk. Thank you for joining me today. Today I've got a very special card for you. I'm making a graduation card. So I've got to make two. So I've already made the one. So this is for my son, who's not actually graduating because he had an online graduation in the summer. So didn't have an in-person one, but his partner's having a real proper in-person graduation tomorrow. So James has hired his gowns so that we can have our photos done at the same time. So quite excited. So I had a little search online to get the right colours of the robes and everything, and it goes to York Uni, and they do different colour collars depending on what course you've done, whether it's a science degree, a master's degree, a law degree, you know, whatever. Law, I think, is purple. Gosh, maybe I should go and study there. So I've made this. I'm going to make it exactly the same again, but this time the hood needs to be in red, so I'm using real red. So this is basic grey because their robes are grey and not black. And yeah, so I'll show you how I did it. You probably guess, looking at this, that I used the shirt and tie dyes to make it. So I've got my bits here. So I've gone for a bit of tone on tone. So I've got a basic grey card base, got a bit of basic white to go on the inside for writing on. So this is half a sheet of A4 cut in half, scored in half, and that's my usual matte size, which are just 1/4 of an inch shorter and thinner. All the measurements over on Nigezza.co.uk. Same size mat here for the front, which will be cut down. And that's the first bit we'll do. So we've got scraps of red and scraps of white for other bits of the card. But let's do the sort of the gowny bit that we've got to do. So we are going to cut ourselves. I'm not actually sure this is wide enough. Didn't get a scrap wide enough. I have got a scrap wide enough. I just picked up the wrong scrap. So we are going to cut. So what I did for the collar bit was I put the pointy bits of the lapels there on the top of a piece of card to cut that out to give me my collar. Okay, so I'm going to cut that out, and then I'm going to cut the V from this for this to sit on. Okay, so I'm going to get those bits cut out. The other thing I did when this was cut out was I embossed it because I felt it needed a little something. Didn't want it to be just flat and plain. So can you see that bit has got a bit of embossing on it to give it a sort of a textured look. I also did a tie to match, so I've used Pool Party here, so I cut that out of the marvellous DSP from Celebration. So I'm going to use one of our, that's the Brights, Jez, you want the Regals. So I forgot, this is the one bit I forgot to get out. So I'm going to use the red, the real red from the Regals 6x6 papers. I always get, when I'm looking at this, it's like, which is real red and which is cherry cobbler? That'll be the real red. So I think I'm going to go for that pattern for the tie. I just think the tie will look nice if it's in the same colour as the bit for the hood. So I'm going to get those bits cut out. So that's the lapel. I just wanted to show you how I kind of measured it. So that's the lapel bit, which is going to go on there. So then when it comes to cutting this bit, I sort of laid it on top to sort of gauge where this needs to be in order for this to be cut in the right place, and then I just sort of slipped that off so I was ready there on my cutting plate to cut there. Okay, so there we have that bit cut out now, ready to get stuck on there. So now we need the coloured sections to go on, and so what I did was, with the scrap of real red, I just cut a little slither like so. I just put that on like so to get a small little triangle like that, and then I cut on the other side like that. So I could have done it out of a thinner scrap actually, but I just didn't see one. So that's them cut out. I've made them a little, I'm going to make these a little bit longer because master's degrees do tend to have a bigger hood. So you just need to snip. I did find another scrap when I went over to my die cutter. So I just need to snip the end off a little bit. Probably should have put my glasses on for that bit, because I don't think I did it very well, but I think it'll be fine. So I'm going to stick that down and then just trim off the top bit. Going to make them sort of even on there. So I had a little look on the website to check out what they look like to make sure that I get it right. I do like to get the little details right. So then we can put this one up the same distance. And then we can just trim off the excess, like so. So that's that bit already. But first we need to emboss this before we can stick it together. So that needs embossing, and the tie needs cutting out as well. So we need the tie and the knots, and we need our shirt collar as well. So that's our, we only need a little, so that's a 2-inch wide strip, the same height there. So we're going to cut our shirt out of this, and then we've got a bit there ready for the greeting. I did do that enough, didn't I, there? And I've got a little scrap there that's like 2 inches by, what was it, 2.5 inches. I'm going to use that for the scroll there. So I'm going to get these die cut and that embossed. So they're all done. So get this out and we can start putting it all together. So I need to poke that out. Usually comes out. To get it in the right place, I'm sticking it on here. And I've got to stick the tie underneath, so I'm going to take my pencil and just make a little dot there so that I know to stick my tie down the centre like that, so that I can put the collar on top and it's in the right place. I think the first time I ever made a suit card, I stuck the front down, stuck this bit on before I'd put the tie on. Was a bit messy. Take that down so it's in the middle. Double checking. that's fine. Then we're going to put this on top, and I put the die for the knot on the side so it wasn't in the same direction, so the designs go in a different way, because that's what it would look like if you tied a tie. It would be different, so that's why we did that. Now, I normally, when I do shirts, is I stick this up a bit, but I'm going to put the gown collar over the top, so I'm just going to stick it flat down. Checking that's flat. I just love this suit and tie set, absolutely love it. I think they make fabulous masculine cards, and I do love making them. So then I'm just going to cut that little V out, and that is ready. When I snip that bit off, that happens to me every time. So that's now ready. I'm going to take the inside out for now to go down the centre of the card. Just finding the centre there. So we're going to stick it. It is 1/8 of an inch from the top and 1/8 of an inch from the bottom, because it's the size of the normal mat. Looks a little bit like a school jumper, doesn't it? So stick that in place. So that's ready there to go on top. Just double checking. On the other one, I did actually trim a little bit more off on that, so make sure there was nothing showing. But I forgot to do it on this one. I'm just going to pull a little bit of the bottom up, because it would be better if I'd taken a slither off that. So that nothing would show at the bottom. There. That's better. So I just want to make sure we didn't get any hint of it at the bottom. So now we can stick this down, and then the fun decorating bit begins, although this is quite fun as well, I think. So that's that bit, and then we're going to stick the collar bit down there. There we go. So now what I did was I made a mortarboard and a scroll. So I'll just get my scraps here. So the mortarboard is made, I used 1.5 inch circle, and I used the tailored tag punch to create it. Is there enough here? Yeah. So cut one and then put it back in so that I just got a diamond. For the top of the mortarboard, and then I probably don't need that. I can probably do it with this. Oh, I got enough there. And then just cut a semicircle. and then stuck one on the other, and that is how I got the mortarboard. So I'm just going to put a bit of glue there on that bit. And I got some very, very old tassels that we made years and years ago. And I bought several packets when they were on clearance, and perfect for, I bought them specifically for graduation cards. And I never thought I'd use the grey ones, but who knew that some universities do graduate with a grey gown? So I've used the black ones often. So I'm going to use a glue dot to stick. I'm going to put it on the back of where this silver bit is, and that is going on there as the tassel. So that's my mortarboard. And then for the scroll, so I've got this bit of basic white, so I'm just going to curl it with my bone folder. Oh, I'm shaking the table, sorry about that. So give it a good curl so that it will go around nicely. And then I'm going to put some Tombow down, start rolling. And Tombow is very quick drying, so it should hopefully stick in place quite quickly. Probably don't need to be 2 inches long, but just giving it a roll to make sure that the glue adheres to all the levels. So that is my scroll done. I've got a bit of glue on my hands, so let's clean that off. And then we need sentiment, and we need a bit of ribbon for the scroll. So I've got some red satin ribbon. I can't see it. Full looking. There it is. So what I did was I just stuck a bit round the centre and then did my tails. As that's cut nicely, I might cut my tails first. Although this is going to get cut then, isn't it? Perk. So that's my tails, and then I just want a little bit to go round. So cut a tiny bit. Oh, very nearly at the end of that, but I'm not worried because there's a new real red ribbon, this cotton, which I did contemplate. Well, it's linen, faux linen, love it. But I thought I had more of that left. So got a little bit of glue on that, so I'm going to leave that to properly dry before I fiddle with that, and let's get our sentiment stamped. So I'm going to use the You Did It here from Many Happenings. I just want that. I don't want anything else. I tend to use my Stamparatus for this, and take that off. So I have both of the messages mounted. I'll leave them mounted on this sheet. I have it stamped on this so that I know where it needs to be. So it needs to be about there. So I know when I ink up You Did It and press it down, it's going to be in the right place. Genius. Well, it's not really. It's just the way it works out easy. So I do have a little basic grey spot, but I don't know where it is. So just inking that up. So I am inking more than I need up, but it doesn't matter. It's only a little scrap. And then I can stamp that. And if I want the darker You Did It. And actually I've got a You're Awesome as well, which I might save for something else. It's quite cool, that. I did contemplate doing You're Awesome because Finn is American and Americans say awesome a lot. But I thought I'd make them matching. So I'll just put that away for now. So then I need the die that goes with Many Messages. I mean, I could cut it out with other things, but I did like, it's supposed to be cut out with this one, but I liked the shape of that one, so I thought I'd cut it out with that one. Quite liked that. Then I'm going to lose me You're Awesome, so I'm actually going to keep that because that is a bit awesome and I might use that for something else, or just leave it there to remind myself that I'm awesome. So I'm going to get that die cut out. There we go. So that's done. I love having the ability to cut lots and lots of shapes out for different things, and I sometimes put other sentiments in it, not the ones that come in the 2 stamp sets. So then to do the surround, I'm using this label punch here, and I quite liked this one here, this shape. Thought that was quite a good shape for this. So this is just shy of an inch, so an inch wide strip is what we need. So got a bit of real red there that I'm just going to cut down to an inch strip. So putting it there on the inch and cut it down. There we go. So I can pop this in the inch runner. Take it to the end, punch, and then sit there like that. Get out my little template. See whereabouts I want it. This is actually the 3/4 of an inch one. I didn't make an inch one, I just thought I don't really need to. I can work it out from this. So I'm going to cut that up there. And then I'm ready. Stick that in there, and I know that when that goes against the bottom there, that will cut me exactly what I need. And I just think that mats really nicely. Just like the look of that. Thought it was very classy, quite masculine, liked it. So they need sticking together. And then I thought what would be nice, little touch like a book plate, is I wanted some little dots either side. Something persistently sticking to me there. There we go. So we've got these matte, classic matte dots, and there's some grey ones in it. So I thought that would look cool, matching the rest of the card. So put one on each side. That just finishes it off just nicely, I thought. I liked it. So, don't know why I insist on putting this back in the plastic cover, but I do. I think it protects them a little bit from coming off. So, now let's get the rest of it assembled. So, we've got our scroll and our bits of ribbon. So we need to attach this ribbon around the centre. So I've got a little bit of Fabitac, which I thought would be good. So I'm going to put a blob of that on there. That's better. Put that on there. So now we want to stick this, put a bit of Fabitac there in the middle so that I can fold this over, fold it that way actually, to make the nice V. So I'm gonna leave that with a block on whilst I assemble the rest of the card. So what we're going to have is that just below there like that. Kind of put the hat at a jointy angle so that it was kind of sitting on the "you did it" and cleverly covering up any gubbins that you might have, or mess that you might have made there. And then we're going to have our little degree scroll on the side there. So we can stick this down first. I think anybody that has managed to graduate in the last 2 years through the pandemic have done an absolutely amazing job. Most of them have been studying at home. They've had disruptions to their studies, and yeah, to sort of get through it. And sadly, so many people have missed out on their graduations as well. So, as James did. So, very happy that we're kind of piggybacking on someone else's, because you want the photos. You want the photos, you want the recognition, you want that handshake. And receiving your degree certificate through the post like James did, it's not the same. There we go. So that's the hat there. So now hopefully this should all be stuck. Yep. So I'm going to stick that like that, and then that on the top like so. I did the other one in Pool Party because that's the colours that I've used, and I thought putting a red scroll, a red ribbon around the scroll would have looked odd. Trouble is, when you get to the end and you're holding it, have it upside down, you sometimes do get quite a lot coming out. I've got a new one of these, but there's still some in there, and it's very expensive, so why would you waste that dribble? I might decant it into one of my little bottles, actually. That's not a bad idea, Jez. Let's not forget it and actually do it. So I'm just going to hold that in place there. Whilst I'm balancing that there, I'll let you see the other one. See, if I'd have done that with a red scroll, I think it might have looked odd. That's what I thought. Oh, and we just need to put our little mat in the middle. So there we have them all done. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed making these. I love making cards for personal things as well. I absolutely did love making these cards, and I'm so looking forward to tomorrow. So yeah, stay safe everybody. I will link down below to everything I've used, obviously apart from the retired ribbon and the tassels, but everything else you'll find in my shop, and I'll be back soon with another video. So take care, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you all again soon. Bye.